5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the championship.
Good morning, everybody. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock flat. It doesn't matter what your clock says. It's 10 o'clock somewhere, right? And right here, it's 10 o'clock. We're never late. We never run late at all. Believe it or not, this time was actually not our fault. We're gonna throw someone else under the bus, man. It's the higher ups. We love that guy, man. He's a trooper, by the way. Jonathan, he's the big dog over at Holy Faith Media, man. That is, by the way, we don't talk about that enough. You got to check out the different shows over at Holy Faith Media. Maybe I'll pop up the YouTube channel throughout the show. Maybe. Possibility. I'd like to have some of those guys on the show. You know, you got Joe and Joe, you got Roberts and Janice Frontlines, okay? So you got a whole bunch of stuff and a whole bunch of things to do with rosaries and masses and everything else, even news. Every once in a while, we got to get better about that. We got to get better about the news. But it's an amazing day to be alive, everybody. Today is the day the Lord has made. We are going to rejoice, and we are going to be glad, even though, and maybe especially because, these times are wicked. These times are very, very, very wicked, and shows like this, you know, it helps us along the way. So we want to make sure that you've got your coffee, okay? We raise our glasses high every single day. We howl at the sun, letting the world know that we're not going to give up, that we're going to keep on smiling, and we will always remember that we're going to die one day, right? We keep death before our eyes always because we don't know when that day is going to come. And in the meantime, we're going to do our very best. We're going to give it everything we got, folks. And we've got an amazing show for you. We got an amazing show for you. I'm Jeremiah Bannister, and you are watching Paleocrat Diaries. Let's go ahead and get right away over to the main screen. I want to go ahead before we end up doing anything at all. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go straight to the news section. Why not? We're just going to go right to it, okay? Boom. We got a lot to talk about today. And I said yesterday, because we had technical difficulties, and I'm hoping I shut down the computer, okay? Because we had big tech problems here at at Castle Paleocrat yesterday. So we tried making sure that everything was set. And I'm really, really, really hoping that everything's going to work out perfectly fine. And it's my hope and my belief very fervently that it's going to be good. But I promised that because of the difficulties yesterday that we were going to do an unlisted program. And what that means, these are special events, okay? They can only be seen. The link is only available at paleocratdiaries.com. And I'm grateful for all the people who've been going there recently. It's awesome because I get these notifications, you know, from people. And it's awesome to see all over the world, different countries, as far as, you know, China. Well, I don't know about China, right? But we had yesterday, it was like France, New Zealand, we had Sweden, we've got countries down in South America. It's an amazing, amazing thing to see how many people are checking out the program from all over the world. And of course, all over the United States of America. Greatest country on earth, everybody. So make sure that this unlisted episode is going to be nothing but fun, okay? We don't get really political. It's kind of laid back. It's kind of chill. You know, we have a good time talking back and forth. We engage a lot with the comments. And it's just fun. And it's funny. A lot of funny episodes, funny videos, memes, all that stuff. Cool stories. But we don't get really serious, right? Well, at least not like, it's not focused on politics like a lot of this show happens to be. So it's always a really good time. Make sure to check out paleocratdiaries.com because the episode is going to come tomorrow night. I can't do it tonight. I was thinking it's either going to be tonight or tomorrow. I have to do it tomorrow. I have to. Because today I got a lot going on. Got to pass some stuff out for the election. Got to go a little bit door to door. Kind of hate doing that. Kind of drop stuff off and book it. You don't know what the person's like on the other side of the door, you know. And so I got to do a little bit of that. I've got an episode of Paleo Cheese this evening. We're interviewing somebody on the show. That's going to be tons and tons of fun. It always is. And then after that, I got to skedaddle because I've got a 4-men party. And I won't go into a bunch of detail because I'll talk about it afterward. But let's just suffice it to say, the guy that wrote the book, we're actually going to read from this today in just a little bit. This book here, right? Cautionary Tales. This is actually 2 books in one, Cautionary Tales and Bad Child's Book of Beasts. This is by Hilary Belloc. He wrote a book called 4 Men. Very, very rarely do I read a book that actually makes me cry and laugh out loud, okay, where I'm just cracking up. And that book does it. It is hilarious. It's nostalgic, but it's also looking forward, right? It's a realistic view of nostalgia in a world where we grow old and where things change and where we'll die and we don't know what it's going to be like when we're gone, right? And so it's a powerful, powerful story. Not very long. You know, an avid reader could read it maybe in a couple days. You know, I don't know if it'd qualify as a novel. It'd be like maybe a novelette, maybe. But powerful, amazing writer. And we reenact. We don't reenact. We celebrate in the spirit of the 4 Men. Okay, so we drink beer. Okay, you're not allowed to bring certain things. Like I brought. Oh my gosh, what did I bring one year, man? I brought a certain kind of liquor, man. Gin. Bad idea, man. Apparently, Hilary Belloc did not think very highly of gin, and the guy who hosts the party is like a Belloc scholar. So the guy knows he can just quote anything all day long. He's got all these books. But we eat meat. We eat cheese. We eat bread. We smoke cigars and pipes. We even sing songs. There's songs in the book. Okay, there's songs in the book that we sing. And one year, the wife showed up, and the host's wife, she's really cool, by the way. And she's sitting there, and she's plucking the strings on that violin and just, you know, doing the music for us to keep us a little bit on track. You know, a bunch of men singing at the same time, it can get pretty rough. But they're the kind of songs you can imagine in, you know, traditional songs over in Great Britain. You know, I mean, these kind of bar songs where everybody's really pumped up and fists are flying in the air and a lot of alcohol and tobacco. So it's a whole bunch of fun. Remember, last thing before we move on, now you can comment on any of the streams that we happen to be on. We're all over the place. YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, Twitch. We're on DLive, a whole bunch of places. If you comment, we can see it. We can see the comment section. We will engage with you. We've already got a whole bunch of people who've commented so far. A bunch of people saying good morning, including Annette in Pennsylvania. It's nice to see you, Annette. It's always nice to see you. Of course, Cherie, yes, nice to see you out in Detroit area. Very, very excited about that. She said, we watched the movie Clouds. What is it, Clouds? Death can come for anyone at any time. I haven't seen that movie yet. TNR says, love Robertson Jenis. Please bring him on the show. I will, but I'm going to avoid the conversation about geocentrism, to be honest. I'm going to do it. I'm going to avoid that conversation. There's a lot of things in the world to talk about. Let's put it that way. Oh, yeah. Yep. It was Jen. I've been reminded by Ailey. She is the queen of divas here at Paleocrat Diaries. She's the mega boss up in the towers here at Castle Paleocrat, alongside the rest of the staff, Wolfgang and Lucian. They're rocking this Casbah pretty hard. They're rocking really, really hard. So, all right. Make sure, of course, we're coming up on NaNoWriMo 2020, National November Writing Month, to make sure to join on with that. I'm hoping to complete my novel and complete a novella, right? So not 2 novels. I want to finish the novel that I'm working on, and I want to complete a shorter novella with the remaining time that I have. And if you get on there, make sure, buddy up with me. I'm Paleocrat. You got to do it. Okay, moving on. We are going right away to these stories. Man. Yesterday was pretty rough, man. Not only was it rough because the video wasn't working, but man, you guys were sharing some messed up junk with me. And we're gonna have to reserve some of that messed up junk. Because we didn't get to see the videos. I thought I got away with it, and people are like, "Oh no, you're gonna have to do that on the unlisted show, available only at paleocratdiaries.com." And I'm thinking, you guys, oh no, because it's gross. Leeches coming out of mouths and stuff, throats. and everything, man. Worms I'm so sorry. Nematodes in the eyelids. 20 nematodes, dude. I don't know about that. Mom discovers face of Trump staring back from tuna steak. I don't know about this. What do you guys think? This is Dominic Smithers. Is that his real name, by the way? Smithers? I don't know about that. Look at his face. This is over at Lad Bible. What do you guys think? Does this look like, well, can you guys see it? Like, let's just focus for a second. Just look at this picture and tell me, are you seeing Donald Trump? I don't know about that. I mean, it could be a host of things. It could be a host of things, man. A shopper got the fright of her life. Is it really scary? I don't know. Is that if that's the scariest thing she's ever seen, she's actually living a rather privileged life. I mean, no offense. A shopper got the fright of her life when she looked down at her tuna steak and saw the face of Donald Trump staring back at her. Again, guys, look at this. I mean, how would you feel if you saw that? Would you be scared at all? Or would it be like one of those things like, oh, man, I'm smiling back at you, homie. Because he looks, cute. This little creature looks cute. A little tuna steak. Amanda Brewster from Houghton-le-Spring near Sunderland pulled the fish out of the freezer at home and noticed the U.S. president's mug. It's just a foregone conclusion. They're like, oh, no, it's definitely 100%. The mom said the mom of two said the fish even had the same hairstyle as the former reality star. Yeah, but Amanda didn't let it put her off. After taking a couple snaps of the fish, she whacked it in the oven. Do you whack a fish in the oven? Is that the right word for that? Whack. She's like, I put it in the oven and whack. Is that who whacks fish in the oven? Who does that? Smithers. Yeah, she said, quote, I fancied a tuna steak. Took it out of the freezer, put it on the side, and I thought, oh my gosh, that looks like Donald Trump. It had a face. It had that little bit on the top that looks like hair, and it totally looked like him. Well, here she is. Okay. All right. Yeah. And, oh, okay. Look, well, guys. All right. This is a cartoon of Donald Trump. Do you look at it? He has the hair like the way it's kind of swooped in the front. Yeah, it is a little bit. It is a little bit of Donald Trump. Not gonna lie, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And she wanted to show everybody, I did think it looked way too happy. No, it looks like Donald Trump. I mean, it looks like him. He looks like that all the time. He's thinking about how America's rocking. He's thinking of how the election is doing good. And he's sitting there, yay! And he's got that face, man. He's got that face. He has to put on the presidential face in public, though. He has to do that with his lips. He has to do that. That's like the president face, Full-time mom Amanda. They keep saying stuff about her like full-time mom of two, 36-year-old. It's always something. Smithers, what's going on with you, man? Yeah. She picked up the steak at a Tesco store in Durham. Now, I don't care if she loves tuna steak. She saw the face, the likeness of Trump straight away. I couldn't believe it. There it is again, guys. One more time. And you got to see the hair is what does it. It's got those little lines, kind of where like the hair swoops forward, for him. It's an amazing hairstyle. I've already told the kids if I ever start going bald, I'm totally doing that. That's just what it is, man. I already have kind of like Trump-esque hair. I don't know if you guys noticed yesterday, man. I thought I was on point. I'm like, oh yeah, man. Got out of the shower, cold shower. Did some Wim Hof in the morning. Get my day started good. Get in that cold shower. Freezing cold. My buddy, the warm cold. Making friends with it. Shivering like crazy. Get out. Do my hair. Think I'm on point. Watch the show on the big screen and realize I got a piece of hair that is just... something was on point. Pointing that way. It was pretty dumb looking, man. Don't know if you guys noticed that. I'm hoping you didn't. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. Very disappointed that none of the others in the pack of four looked the same. Oh, she cooked it. Okay, yeah, she whacked it in the oven. She whacked it in the oven and cooked it, and she was surprised that there weren't more like that. Would you have done that? Would you have even put it in the oven, or would you have stored that forever? Just enshrined it, You could enshrine it. You would have people lined up outside your house just to look at it. Just to look at it. What's this? Raccoon leads faculty members on chase through Texas school. We've been watching the raccoons Very closely, guys. A lot of raccoon stories. I don't know if you've noticed this. It seems like raccoons and deer, that they're on the front lines of the great animal uprising that's happening in 2020. We here at this show. If you're tuning in for the first time, do not be surprised by this. We've covered this a great deal. In fact, if you don't know anything about this, number one, we're not surprised. Number two, you got to go back and just watch every episode. You got to watch because we cover it. We may be the only show that covers this on a regular basis, and we keep people on the ball. That way, when you see stuff that's out of the ordinary, you see a raccoon, you don't just think to yourself, boy, that raccoon, maybe it's trying to build a little house, maybe it's trying to do this or that. You're saying there may be a really big plot going on. This kind of, I don't know, I don't want to sensationalize it, but kind of like a genocidal New World Order scheme against the human rights. That's what's going on, guys. Not to be sensational. I might be downplaying it, actually. Might be universal. might be global. Raccoon, we have, so it's okay. Oh, and there's a video. Let's see if it works. Please. Please work. Okay. So there's a raccoon trapped in one of the practice rooms here. This is at the school. Is there audio to this? Please. Yeah, we got to make sure, because yesterday... Wow. Yep, there's audio. Go! Yeah. Look at that guy. That dude's taking it slow. Yeah, humans are trying to, think about it, and the raccoon's like, I'm out, guys. They're clever buggers, man. That guy's recording it. Check it out. He's TikToking. TikToker. Oh, here it goes. Why didn't he dive? Why didn't the TikToker dive, man? Oh, yeah. Dude, now there's a lot of TikTokers. This lady's TikToking. Look. For the OnlyFans. Holy moly. How long does this thing go on? Okay, now they've cornered him, right? They've cornered him. They got him. But this dude's terrified. Okay? He's terrified. Oh, there's another one, dude. Look, everybody's got their phones out. Look. There's a raccoon on the loose in the school. Put your phone away. Put the phone away. There's security cam footage. And apparently they've got a live band playing that song. It was in the band room. Who would have figured? What are the odds that band room was playing that song at the same time for the live feed? Who would have known? Do they ever catch this bugger? I'm not going to watch it for another minute and a half. I mean, they're just chasing around. How many people? We're going to do stop scenes. Okay, look. Now there's people gathered around. She's like, oh my gosh, I got it in frame. Oh my gosh, dude. Do they finally actually get this thing? Do they get it? Because it's just booking around. The door is now propped open. Ladies following it. I don't even know if they get it. I don't know if they even get this thing. It's unbelievable. Did they? Let's see here. Oh, it darts out of the building through an open door. Okay. And in the end, it was the lady dressed up like, some kind of a prisoner, right? Wearing the black and white stripes. Maybe she was the referee in that wrestling match, where the dude jumped off of we showed that a couple days ago. He jumped off of the ropes, and when he landed, his legs broke the wrong way. Not good. Oh, dude, by the way, oh my gosh. It was Wolfpack Wednesday when we showed that video. I went back and I'm sharing the link, right? I never noticed this. His name is Wolfpack Stinger. Wolfpack Sting. Okay, Wolfpack Sting. But it's spelled with a C. And I'm like, maybe it's like a wolf political action committee. And I'm like, this guy might be on the evil side. It might have been okay, Take him out. He took himself out, man. He took himself out. Oh, my gosh, dude. In the comments, people talking about the Trump steak, the Trump tuna steak, said that saying that it's Trump is a little bit of a stretch. I don't know. It looked like a realist painting. Very close. Bethany, it's good to see you, Bethany. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this when we shared the promotional for this video. The thumbnail is amazing. I shared it over at my Facebook as well as Parler. I'm on Parler, guys. I just started being active. Just started following some people. Not too many posts or anything like that, but I'm going to start doing that because I think that's where we're going to get big, okay? Because right now we're loved by dozens. We're loved by dozens, and I'm trying to get to the place where we're dozens and dozens. You know what I mean? I'm going to get there. But the thumbnail is an amazing thumbnail, right? Has a picture. In fact, Ailey is in the picture, looking mega hot, of course. There's Queen of Divas here. I mean, you got to be. But we took a very, very scientific poll, and we found that this show here, that housewives love it. In fact, it's their second favorite thing to wake up to in the morning. Some of them were third, but we found out that among that's particularly true, by the way, particularly true of our target demo of extremely intelligent and attractive housewives. I mean, that's just what we got. I mean, and we didn't even have to target that. It's like we've just accepted it. It's like the idea of sculpting when you're sculpting a big block of stone or whatever, and you're sitting there and you're sculpting it, and people say, you just let the image come out of that kind of thing. And that's kind of what we did with this. You didn't have to target anything. It grew out of the show. You start doing the show on a regular basis. And you got these housewives, right? Super intelligent housewives, super faithful and devout to the Lord, right? And of course, mega hot. I mean, that's just what it is. Let's see. Yeah, but Bethany says it's like little tuna that belongs with VeggieTales. A little bit, a little eatsies. Zach says her fear of Trump rules her, and her subconscious manifests it. Yeah, because she was whacking the fish. Just whacking a fish, dude. It's frozen. It's not even there. And she's like, I can't take it. Anti-globalist. Good morning, anti-globalist. Yes. Good morning. Friday morning. Yes. Good morning to you. Good morning to CF. Yes, raccoons, man. All right, moving on. Let's see. Dad says people laugh and think his name's a joke since the outbreak of coronavirus. I don't know. My kids were telling me yesterday, man, that a patron saint of viruses is corona. Is that true? Is that true? Oh, man. I don't know. My kids trick me sometimes. They trick me. A new dad who welcomed a baby during the coronavirus pandemic says he had to show his bank card to disbelieving doctors who thought the surname he had given his son was a joke. Oh, and look at the kid. I mean, the kid's really cute. Look at that. Look at that little bugger. Look at that little hat. I need one of those. I need a hat like that. I don't need a button-up shirt like him, though. Right? Buttoning up all the way like that, it's only cool if you do the Calavero thing, right? And the rest of the buttons are unbuttoned. Believe it or not, I used to do that. Yeah. Jimmy says it feels weird to suddenly hear his name all over the news. What's his name? Black Lives Matter? What's his name? What is his name? A man has said he has to take proof of identification everywhere he goes, even when he attended the birth of his son, as people assume he's pulling a prank when he tells them his name. Jimmy Corona. Yo, Jim Corona. You got Corona? Yeah, man, I got Corona with me. Oh, you do? Oh, man. From Stoke-on-Trent? Is that what? Is that a place? Stoke-on-Trent? Well, I hear ya. Says he had never previously had a problem with his surname. Corona's been around for a while, dog. It's not like brand new. It's not brand new, man. But since the outbreak of coronavirus, he's experienced delivery drivers, bar staff, and even doctors failing to take him seriously. Dude, I used to have that in a weird way, not my name. in a weird way, I have a driver's license, one of my old driver's licenses. In fact, my first one I ever had. My dad, when I went in, you know, you get your picture taken and stuff. And my dad, he was telling me before we went in, we're still at the house and stuff, and he's like, "You got to do that face, man. This smile that I know how to do." And my mom was really not happy. Oh, she's the one who actually taught me how to do it too. It's weird. So she taught me how to do this certain smile, and my dad was insisting, and my mom's like, "You better not." So I'm like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do it." We get to the Secretary of State, man. We go inside. And they're like, "Okay, you ready for the picture?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Okay, smile." And I go, like that. And the person behind the camera goes, like this, and shakes their head, and then turns back around. Bam. Yes. I took the picture with that face. Well, so my picture has me going like this. Well, I get pulled over, right? I get pulled over. Not, actually, the first day, I didn't have my driver's license. I did get pulled over the first day. Right? In fact, within the first 10 minutes that I had a car. Not speeding, it was even worse. I went through a stoplight. Being completely stopped and seeing a cop behind me and being scared, trying to be, paying tons of attention. And I'm watching the other light for the other direction, and I see that it turns red, and I go. It wasn't red for us. I'm good. And the cop's like, "What?" Pulls me over. But I get pulled over. Cop comes over, checks out my driver's license. And he's looking at me, and he's looking at my driver's license, looking at me, looking at my driver's license. And finally, I'm like, "Bro, it's totally me." And he goes, "Okay, I don't know why you would do that. You look pretty fugly, dude." And I said, oh, man, I cried myself to sleep. But, I would cry myself to sleep even worse if my name was Corona. It's just terrible. And people laughing at him at the pub. I knew a guy, man, his last name was Gay in the Navy. And they always poke shots. They'd be like, "Is anyone gay? Who's gay?" And he's like, "I am, sir." And they stand up, and everybody's like, kind of doing that thing. There's a dude, his name was like Rapier, but it was spelled Raper. And it had, you always have your name, your last name is on the front of your shirt and on the back. And I was like, "Dang, dude, you are a Raper." And he's like, "It's not Raper, it's Repair." I'm like, "No, it's Raper." For sure. Okay. Woman finds secret room in house and said she wishes it had stayed hidden. It's another one of these, really. A homeowner has revealed how she decided to lock up a secret room that she discovered hidden in her house just months after moving in due to its unsettling contents. See, I think the last one we saw, wasn't it just empty? Wasn't it just empty? A woman has left people shaking with fear. Are people like shaking with fear after discovering a secret room in her house just a few months after moving in? This creepy room was discovered while the woman was cleaning out a cabinet and noticed that it could be moved. Okay. That is a little bit, you're cleaning up a cabinet and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, what's this? Oh, dang, it's a room." Yeah. You probably have a repair room in there. You probably have one of those in there. In a video, which has been viewed 3.4 million times, she explained, "We bought this house a few months ago, and we've been slowly cleaning out different cabinets and closets. And as you can see, the old lady that lived here saved everything. But I noticed that this moved, and looking into it, I can see there's a space back here. So my kids said I should tape it while moving it and see what's back there. And it's this." I know. Little dolls. Dude, it is definitely Raper's room. It's definitely his room. Oh, no, dude. No, man. That is so messed up. And they're like the dolls that are a little creepy, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not the really cute ones and stuff. The crammed room was filled with creepy dolls. Oh, dude, look at this one. Oh, no. Dude, no. Let's get that head over here a little bit. Let's center that bugger. You can really take it in. You can really it looks like it's missing an eyeball, man. Blah. No. No. This is okay, yeah, Nightmare Land. Dude, imagine it's all dark. Imagine it's all dark and you like pop in a little bit and you're opening up and you've got a little bit of light slowly creeping across and it's this thing. No. No. I don't think so. We are closing that up. You're closing it up, dude. Oh, the homeowner who shared the discovery of the room on TikTok. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it was coming, man. I knew it was coming. That's okay. I actually started a TikTok myself. I'm gonna be TikToking it up 24/7. Oh, TikToking it up 24/7. Oh, this is just an announcement, I guess. Okay, Power Rangers are coming back to your screens. Dude, I don't know. What do you guys think about that, by the way? You guys big Power Ranger fans? Power Ranger fans, yep. Brian in the comments, do the face. I did do the face. And this right here. Dude, there's a whole bunch of stories that go with that. Like crazy things I did at Taco Bell with that face. And talking to people. Right? Where they're looking at me like, dude, is that his face? Or doing that at stores and stuff, man. Walking around in stores. I used to do weird stuff like that, like tape my legs and my arms so they couldn't bend and walk through the mall. Believe me, I was really high. My high school years were kind of a little bit of a haze. I'm not going to lie to you guys. 90s kids prepare for a wave of nostalgia. It's been confirmed. This is over at the Hook site. Been confirmed that the Power Rangers are coming back for a new TV series and a film. Prepare to introduce a whole new generation to your favorite superheroes. They were, like the early gen, when it was like really, really kind of like stereotypically diverse, the Asian girl in the yellow, the white chick in the pink, and the leader boy in the red, that kind of thing. The black guy in the black. I mean, why not, have, a Mexican one wearing a sombrero? Like, oh, you guys, that's really, really stereotypical, And then, of course, the main leader, like the really powerful guy, once he showed up, man, he was the White Ranger. And I'm thinking, dude, this is, obviously very problematic. And then they just went downhill after that. A lot of CG crap. Entertainment One confirmed they're coming back with a new TV series and film. In a surprise move, the director has been confirmed as Jonathan Entwistle. Who is that guy? Who you might know for his work on I Am Not Okay With This and The End of the Effing World. Have you guys seen that, by the way? Either one of those? I know nothing about it. Apparently that could mean a darker twist. I don't know, man. It's pretty dark, dude. It's pretty dark if you think about it. Zordon, dude. What's up with that guy? And his robot pal. Okay. BM Shopper. B&M. I don't know what that is. Shopper discovers X-rated detail. Okay. On cute reindeer Christmas decoration. You guys might have to cover your kids' eyes. I don't know what this is. I don't know where we're going with this. A woman has taken to Facebook to share a picture of a rude so she didn't go to TikTok. She didn't go to TikTok, right? So it might not be as sensationalistic. Yesterday we did show a thing. It was a purse. I didn't know this was going to go that way. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that happens. And it was a purse that had a lot of the animal kingdom doing the, and it was a grandmother. She didn't know that that's what it was, and she bought it. It was like, oh, there's no way she didn't know. I wonder if it was a little bit rigged. That grandma's just trying to get likes. She's trying to get upvotes. A woman has taken to Facebook, shared the picture of a rude Christmas decoration. And other people thought it was brilliant. Okay. See, a B&M shopper was left stunned. The woman was on a hunt for a new and festive decoration in her local B&M store when she came across a white reindeer statue. I mean, look, so we got the statue here. We got the little ornament. We'll even scooch it up, maybe to show a little bit of the underside. Just see. Okay, so it's not a 5-legged reindeer. I mean, we're not dealing with that. And I'm looking at it, I'm not seeing anything going on. I mean, you're not seeing any, of the, Humpty Dumpty stuff. You're not seeing any of that. So I don't really know what they're talking about. On top of the reindeer's back were a number of adorable looking animals, a fox, an owl, a rabbit, and a squirrel. Okay, so like the entire Legion of Doom in the Great Animal Uprising, right? This is exactly this is what we're looking for, guys. This lady, she definitely doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. You wouldn't celebrate that if you were on the ball with this. You would be like, no. You don't celebrate that. We got to get rid of those things. Thinking it would look perfect on her mantelpiece this Christmas, she picked it up to put it in her basket. But as she turned it upside down in search of the price tag, she came across a very realistic looking set of a set of that. What? Is it on the deer? I mean, I don't know what you guys think. We're going to scooch past that. I know it's an animal and stuff, and, even kids, they've seen that. If they've got a boy dog, you know what I mean? You're going to inevitably see Pinky and stuff. So that is kind of a normal thing. At the same time, that blue circle, dude, that blue circle, like we wouldn't be able to see it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me circle this for you. It's obviously a grandmother. It's obviously a grandmother. I go to find the barcode, and it wasn't around his neck where it usually is, so I thought maybe it was stuck somewhere else. I turned it over, and I saw that. It is a little odd, though, isn't it? It's a little bit. I mean, it does look kind of realistic. We're gonna scooch really quickly past the blue circle thing. I mean, it is going for a little bit of realism. It's got very fine details and stuff. But it's kind of like it's unnecessary. What? Isn't it just a little unnecessary? Oh, speaking of unnecessary, Pennsylvania family builds candy pult for safe trick-or-treating. This is where we've gotten, guys. This is where we've gotten. Because the Rona, everybody's afraid. Dude, everybody's wearing masks, man. People are wearing masks, dude. And they're like, well, we need you to medically secure your mask. You need to mask your mask. And you're like, ugh. Okay, if you mask a mask, can you use a live snake? We've talked about that guy before. He's like, look, there's 2 layers. He's like, the idea that droplets are going to get out. I mean, by that point, you got a huge python wrapped around your face, a little boa. How are you going to get droplets out, man? How are you going to get droplets out of there? In the comments real quickly, CF says, dang, that's like getting a ticket during your driver's test. Oh, no, dude. No, we didn't. There was no way I was going to get one. We spent half the time, dude, in a McDonald's drive-thru. I liked the driving instructor, but I would not say he was that good. I mean, we always went out to eat. We didn't buy any food. He did. Right? Oh, yeah. It was not good, man. It was not. And I was in the short car, I was short enough that my, it was probably the same thing as my boys, man, the human growth hormone thing. My pituitary gland probably was not letting out the juice fast enough. And so, you end up being kind of short, and you have to bring a telephone book and a pillow, and you double it up, and that way you're on there. And we had one person, they had to have like a little thing by the feet, a little block or something like that, I didn't need that. I wasn't that short. But yeah, it would be like, getting a ticket during your driver's test. I've only gotten one speeding ticket in my entire life, and I was 17. Coming home from my girlfriend's house, wasn't supposed to be there. I was late. I was in trouble already, and I'm like, I better get home soon. I'm like a mile up the road from the house. Come up over a hill, man. As I come up over the hill, I see this cop car across the other side, and I'm like, oh no. I was going like 13 over. He pulls me over, but the thing is, it took him a long time to get up to me. I mean, I was half tempted to go and like park somewhere and get out and just be like, oh no, I haven't been driving my car. It's a long time ago. All right, let's see this.
Our county community. A family in Springersbury Township came up with an idea to make it happen despite the COVID-19 pandemic. So this morning we take a look at the candy catapult on Cayuga. Ready, aim, trick or treat.
We thought we could try and come up with a creative way to throw candy at kids.
Dude, look, you can see it in his smile, man. Can we drop that down? Let's see. Yeah, stress no more, Wim Hof. By the way, you ain't doing Wim Hof, you're nuts. You're nuts. Dude, look at his face. He said we're trying to find, a creative way to throw candy at kids. That right there is a tell. His face, I might not be a body language professional, right? But I'm pretty good. And you can sit there and say, deep down inside, this guy is like, that's really what it's about. I just wanted to chuck candy at kids. Oh, man, that's hilarious. He's like, I've been thinking about it for a long time. And dude, look at all those grills back there, man. This guy is a machine, dude. He's cooking out like crazy.
Safely.
The Mac family.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a conscientious person when it comes to chucking candy at kids. I'm conscientious. You know, I'm not only paying close attention to what's going on, you know, with the pandemic, but I want to make sure that when I throw it at them, it's not going to be, you know, dangerous. Okay.
In York County is ready to launch into Halloween.
With just everything going on, everybody just needs to feel happy, you know, find something to laugh at.
The family wanted.
That's why people watch the show. This guy might actually be watching the show right now. It's a possibility. He's like, you know, with everything going on, you know, there's evil in this world. We're living in dark times, you know. There's crazy fake news going all over the place, disinfo from the mainstream media, and Animal Uprising 2020. He's like, we got to bring joy. We got to bring happiness. And so, you know, watch Paleocrat Diaries. Watch Paleocrat Diaries. And throw candy at children. That's what we're going to do. All right, let's see here. Animal control officers freed deer's head from plastic pumpkin. You know, this is obvious, guys, what's going on. You know, I mean, well, it could go one of two ways. Either the deer is wanting to participate in the festivities in a fun way, like it's like maybe it bought a pumpkin or, you know, went into Target, because we know that they've gone into different stores. It may have been, this is what it's for, or is trying to scare the living crap out of us. And it's going to run around at night, dude, like the headless horseman. This is the headless deer, man. Click, clack, 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 clack. Dude, I'd be like, no. Remember the video we showed with the deer that's like looking outside, or he's outside the window to a guy's office, and he's looking in, and he's all, he's huffing and puffing, you know, and then later on jumps through. Imagine turning around and seeing one of them buggers with a pumpkin on its head. I'm telling you, they're terrorists. They're terrorizing everybody, terrorizing all of us, man. Yes. In the comments, I was never a Power Rangers fan. You know, we might have been a little bit too old, you know. Might have been a little too old for that, you know. It's just right after. It's like Pogs, you know. I knew people who were like really into Pogs. And I was like, I don't know about that guy. You know, but then again, when I talked about Ren and Stimpy, a lot of them were like, what? What are you talking about? Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead? What? The Max? What? MTV before, you know, when they used to play music videos? What? Yeah, man. That's kind of... What about Roundhouse? You guys remember that? Roundhouse on Nickelodeon? Was Nickelodeon like a, you know, pedophile wonderland back then? I mean, or was that like a later thing? I don't mean to laugh at that. I mean, it's serious business. Okay, I say we all go back to Tom and MySpace. The last time I checked, my account was still active. You know, what? Does MySpace censor, dude? You know, it's just a matter of time. I mean, if we all went back there, it might happen. Yeah. Yeah, Ailey asked why you need the detail on the deer. Yeah. Exactly. Why would you need that? You know? But then, you know, the person, maybe they're into that weird mysticism where they're like, why do we need anything? And you're like, what? You know, why need the finer details? You know, why not just leave it just, you know, kind of smooth? But I added finer details, and he just didn't know where to stop. He didn't know where to stop with finer details. Yeah, Adam says, driving instructor, I know who you're talking about. I know you do. Yeah, because you're actually from you're from my hood, man. Yep. That's hilarious, man. Lurk Gert says, I'm afraid to watch Ren and Stimpy. You're insane, dude. Ren and Stimpy is maybe one of the greatest cartoons that's ever been made. It is, man, and its influence is vast. And I mean that, dude. Like, I'm serious about this. I truly love that show. I love that show. I love Beavis and Butthead. You know, of course, that's edgier. You know, they say a lot of inappropriate things. Ren and Stimpy. Let me say this: Ren and Stimpy, when it was with Nickelodeon, okay, because it had like a revival that came back, and it was on it. What was the name of the men's network? What was that called? I forget what it was called. They've really SJW'd out, right? They're now into that, or they were anyway. Kind of like, oh, you know, maybe we've been toxic this whole time, and a little bit of, you know, even, you know, they had the Ren and Stimpy reboot. And when they did that, I wasn't a big fan of that. I mean, it just turned into kind of just raunchy humor instead of bizarre, absurdist humor, you know? Deer using pumpkin as helmet to bust through windows. Dude, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
These nets are great. Don't let anybody tell you different. I'm an ACO who proudly uses a net.
Okay, so this lady is like, she's very proudly using a net. She's a professional with this kind of thing. She's like, look, I'm a professional. I'm using a net, right? She's on Team Paleocrat in the war. She knows what's going on. This lady is definitely watching the show, all right? She's archiving everything, probably sharing it all over the place. All over the place. And she's like, I take this very, very seriously. We use a net. I keep up with the animal uprising of 2020 by listening to Paleocrat Diaries.
All right, now to get this.
It's obviously a costume. You hear that?
There we go. Well, there you go.
You're good. Oh.
And so, we'll need another net.
Wow. That's intense, man. Wait a second. Okay. I got certain weird animal things, you know. I've seen some weird junk recently. I've only got a couple more, and then we're getting into the serious news. It's almost been an hour. We started a little late, though. Started a little bit late, but we're going to try to keep it, you know, on time and everything. We're going to try to keep it on time. Colorado man sets world record for running a mile while pushing a stroller. Another Guinness book? Dude, he's got like, you know, his family's there and they're like, what is dad doing? And the mom is like setting a world record. And they're like, man, that's really great. And the mom's like, no, don't encourage him. Don't encourage dad. You know, but he's really fit. Oh, dude, that's a real kid in there too. Let's see.
1-year-old Bodie Voss had a front row seat for history.
Just wanted to see how fast I could go the last mile with one of the kids in the stroller.
That's how Andrew Voss came up with the idea. The two-time collegiate track and field national champion took aim at the world record.
Wait a second.
The two-time Voss came up.
Stroller.
That's how Andrew Voss.
Okay, so he did come up with the idea. It showed the wife. I thought for a second, man, it was like, you know, his wife, and I'm thinking
world record
highly unlikely.
For fastest mile pushing a stroller.
Contacted Guinness World Records, and they alluded to his 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh, that's doable.
Provided this
Oh, so he was like, he had the idea. He's like, you know, I thought maybe, you know, because you wonder, like, how do they think of this? Like the dude that we talked about who had all those coconuts. He blindfolded himself and smashed coconuts that were surrounding a guy on the ground, right? He won a world record. Did he call them? He thought, man, you know, I want to break these coconuts, but I wonder if there's a record. And he calls them and asks, and they don't think that's weird at all. Guinness, they're like, oh no, the record right now is 48 coconuts. What? Who did this? Who did this? You know? And this guy, he calls and he's like, okay, running a mile, pushing a stroller. Who's done it the fastest? And they're like, oh, it's, you know, 4 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. And he's like, that's doable. I can do that, you know?
Denver dad could keep at least one hand on the stroller, all 3 wheels on the ground, and bundled Bodie seatbelted in place. With a crowd rooting him on, it came down to the home
crowd,
stretch.
yeah, cheering him on. Look,
dug deep, shaving nearly 3 seconds off the record. Officially, this father-son feat was 4:57.1.
You hear that one person in the background? Wow! Yeah! You did it! You're in the record books! You did it! Oh my gosh, dude, you're the best! Who's that lady? Oh, man.
It'll be fun to look back.
Dude, look at him. He's on the ground. I did it, guys. I finally made it. Oh, man. I don't know. He's sporting that black and yellow, though. He might be one of the boys, so I don't want to rip on him too badly. You know, he might be one of those really prideful boys. I don't know what I'm talking about.
being there
brothers
with a kid of
yeah.
mine, our youngest kid, and knowing that all the miles I put in with our older kid, Luca.
Why did he choose Bodie over his older brother?
He's lighter.
Oh, he's calling his kid fat. Yeah. Fat shaming. Yeah, he's probably one of us. He's probably one. He's probably one. What is this? What the? Let's see. Real James Woods. Real James Woods. We're going to have to see if we can start this here. Oh, yeah. It'd be heartbreaking. Okay. Oh, it's a Biden one. This is one we want to show. Okay, we're going to show this. I know it's political, but we can do this. Okay. We can do this. Let's see.
Grandpop was named Ambrose Finnegan.
My grandpapa named Ambrose Finnegan. Right from the beginning, man. Listen again.
Grandpop was named Ambrose Finnegan. As kitchen table I learned. I used to say...
As kitchen table I learned? As kitchen table I learned.
I used to say, Joey, nobody's better than you, but you're no better than anybody else. Maybe it's the Scranton. You got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Worried about whether they can make next month's mortgage payment. It is what it is because he is who he is. That's why it is what it is. He is who he is. You know, remember when he went on, he decided he was going to convince Bob Woodward what a smart guy he was. So he went on, yeah, smart guy. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure isolated punish China.
What?
Folks, true international effort to pressure.
True international pressure. What? What is wrong with this, dude? Him and Pelosi both have the same thing, but Pelosi's figured it out. Pelosi, that's why when she talks with her teeth like this. Oh, yes. She's doing the, what, it's a specific technique, right? Dr. Fire Marshal Bill, he came up with that. I forget what it, kind of thing. Yeah.
Isolate and punish China. Donald Trump thinks health care. Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys. I gotta admit. It's all within our power. It's all within our power. But we're getting there, man. Hang on.
Look at his face.
To send every single person qualified to community college free. To community college free. And if I keep going, you're going to freeze your fingers off. It wasn't. Donald Trump hasn't delivered on a damn thing he said he'd do.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, dude, he struggles so badly. Look, there's a serious conversation to be had that this guy is not really even, I mean, it's like it's the biggest phony, head fake in the universe to believe that he's actually the main dude running. I mean, in a way he is, but in a way we know it's Kamala. Like, they're not even really trying to hide it anymore. I'm seeing more and more signs that are just Kamala. That's all it is. Just Kamala. Her husband. I'm the husband of the next president of the United States. She's referred to herself that way. People have said the Harris-Biden ticket. He specifically said recently that, I'm basically a running mate. You think I'm lying about that? No, we don't. We think behind the scenes, dude, that we think behind the scenes that you've taken the idea of the Scooby wagon that Hillary had for all of her sicknesses, and you've just said, let's keep it in the basement in my house, because we all knew about, the Scooby wagon. We saw it. We saw her get chucked into that thing like a big bag of potatoes. When she's doing the shakes and then coming out with the blue glasses and saying that she has, what did she say? She had pneumonia or whatever. And she's hugging a little girl who brought up a flower, and she's totally, obviously, a con moment. She's 30 feet away from press. Obviously a lookalike. Oh, man. Obviously a lookalike. Oh, okay, yeah, I know what this is. Okay, we're equal opportunity, by the way. People sit there and they're like, we always dog on Biden. We can have fun. We can have fun with Trump stuff. So here's a good Trump one. Here we go. Let's see this. I've seen this already. It's good.
Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president. I got back a day ago from Walter Reed Medical Center. I went in, I wasn't feeling so hot. And within a very short period of time, they gave me Regeneron. A short 24 hours later, I was feeling great. And that's what I want for everybody. If you're in the hospital and you're feeling really bad, Regeneron. We have hundreds of thousands of doses that are just about ready. You're going to get better. You're going to get better really fast. Regeneron. Because I feel great. I feel like perfect. I want to get for you what I got. Regeneron. And you'll see some amazing things happen. You're going to get better. You're going to get better fast, just like I did.
Yeah, by the way,
Hi, perhaps you recognize...
that might be the only remotely hilarious thing that the Lincoln Project has ever done. For anybody who doesn't know what the Lincoln Project is, dude, those guys are straight up goons. Straight up goons. I had a conversation with somebody not long ago. I won't say who he is. You know, but we're having this conversation, and it's quite obvious that this guy has been infected by the SJW virus. Okay, so he's looking through the goggles at life, and you know the whole Clockwork Orange crap going on with the eyeballs. I've seen it all. I watch CNN. And so this guy, you know, he was talking. I said, no, I'm a Republican. You know, I said I am a delegate with the Republican Party. I said, you know, I'm there because of the boss and stuff. And he wasn't getting any of that. And he's like, always like, you know, the Lincoln Project, right? And I'm thinking, dude, bro, like, no. No. What? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Oh, my gosh, dude. Yeah, those guys are all has-been losers, by the way. Just total has-been losers, man. Super, super sad for those guys, right? No good. No good. All right, everybody. It's been fun. We are getting into the second hour. This is a reminder. Every single Monday through Friday, 10 to noon, is the show. You can see it on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope, all over the place, even on D-Live and Twitch. You can do that. And, of course, if you want to see the episodes and be able to skip to your favorite segments, okay, if there were certain segments that you're like, dude, I got to share this with my friend. This certain segment is hilarious. We have a table of contents that's available for every single show. It normally comes up at around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because we have, once the show's over, because we don't know where it's going to go. Sometimes it goes off the rails in many different directions. And so we got to make sure that we get the right stuff. We don't want to put it ahead of time, right? So we don't do that. You know, but the thing is you can go and we've got timestamps, the little time marker. If you click on that, it takes you straight to the video, right? Straight to that part, exactly where that segment begins. You can right-click that, copy the URL, paste it into whatever social media you use, whatever platform you're familiar with, or into your text message, and share it with your friends, family, classmates, coworkers, even your frenemies, right? The people you just want to just poke at. You can go ahead and share those. It's tons of fun. And oftentimes, depending on, you know, the story and kind of how it went, I'll include the link to the article as well. And so we go ahead and do that. All of that's available at paleocratdiaries.com. Remember, you can be a subscriber. That's completely free. And you will get any updates sent to your email. We don't update very often, you know, like once a day, sometimes more, depending on like if there were specials during the day and if it was another episode, right, that we did, like whether it's Paleo Cheese with my co-host, we co-hosted together, award-winning author Chad Lutsky. We talk wide range of topics, a lot of interviews, stuff about books and movies, culture, even weird stuff like about, you know, how I learned the wonders of pheromones in a bathroom, right? Trying to be discreet at a visitor's house kind of thing. A lot of fun. The Death of Malls, the best albums of all time, All-Weather Friendship and stuff like that. So very cool. But that's the only time you're ever going to see more than one post. And speaking real quickly, speaking of being on another show and having another episode to share, on election night, guys, I am going to be on Meaning of Catholic it'll be about, 10 o'clock, I think? I think 10 o'clock is when I'm hopping on the air with Timothy Flanders over at the Meaning of Catholic YouTube channel. That's also over at Holy Faith Media. And so you can check all of that out. Oh my gosh. Very, very good. All of it, of course, you can find paleocratdiaries.com. Really great. In the comments section, have you seen the bad lip reading from the debate? It's hilarious. I have not. You know, I to be honest, I've been let down a little bit by the bad lip reading stuff. You know, when it first started, it was pretty good. But then later on, you know, although I will say the Twilight bad lip reading is hilarious. I really like the Twilight one. I really like the Twilight one. In the comments, not to be rude, but he sounds like he had a stroke. Dude, okay, you may have been thinking of the slowed down parts. You know, but yeah, he does kind of sound like he's, you know, maybe having a stroke. And we don't want to joke about that. It's a serious thing. That's why it's like, that's why it's so evil, in fact, that they're not being honest about this, whatever's going on with him. And you can find out more. Go to I think it's joebidenisick.com. You got to go. And I know I'm laughing about it, but because the name and stuff and the guy that does it. But the thing is, those videos, you have to see it, especially even his handwriting, man. It's out of control, dude. It's just totally out of control. Ailey says, has he been drinking? I hear some slurring. You hear a little bit of slurring. Because they're the good boo. He's slurring real badly. Really, really badly. Yeah. Biden seems pretty far out of it. Totally true. Yeah. Yeah. Nuno asks, is Biden going to create hard, good jobs like he promised? Dude, you know, he's one of those guys. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. You know, he's one of those guys that takes a position that, you know, it's okay that all those jobs go overseas. That's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine that we have an economy that is not balanced with, you know, with agrarian and manufacturing and service sector, that we don't have any kind of balance at all. It doesn't matter. We could do, you know, he's one of those that doesn't think there's a difference between making potato chips and microchips. He's one of those. He's one of those who wants to give all of our trade rights and even legal rights many times over to these transnationalist entities that, and lobbyists, by the way, who put this stuff together, like the TPP, stuff like that. Which of course, Donald Trump, boom, just socked that bugger right out of the galaxy. He did. He did. Yep. And he wants to, and Joe Biden's okay with bringing in a bazillion illegal immigrants. And they're not going to have an effect on the amount of money that you make, even though we know for a fact that that happens. Oh, they're not going to take any jobs, even though we know for a fact that that happens. Especially, by the way, especially to people on the bottom end, right? The people who may not have a very good education, people who may have a difficult time for other reasons, right? Elderly people, young people, poor people, that specifically affects them the most. And then, of course, the visas that he's like, oh, bring in even more. That's going to affect the people who actually take the time and go into debt trying to get into these jobs that are even harder. They're told, hey, you're told, go to college. You're told, don't get married, go to college and try to get a job in, try to learn to code. So you go to college to learn to code, and then the person that told you to go to learn to code is the one encouraging all these visas to come over and fill those jobs for you. So that by the time you get there, they're like, oh, it's okay. We already have these people doing the job that you went to school for. So, dude, no. Highly unlikely, man. This is the way it goes. And think about it. Remember the whole magic wand crap with Obama? Magic wand saying, oh, yeah, Trump thinks he's going to be able to do all these things with the economy, and he's going to be able to bring jobs back, and he's going to be able to have unemployment at a certain number and all that. What does he think? He's got some kind of magic wand? Lo and behold, he has 2 of them. Because he was kicking tail, man. We need him for 4 more years, guys. 4 more years. All right, moving into this. We had somebody yesterday say that going into the second hour, they really like this. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to play the Wolfie song. It's Friday, man. Why not, dude? Why not? We're going to have to do that. Freedom Tunes, don't know what that is, by the way. Don't know what that is. Okay. All right, we're going to play this song. Make sure, grab your coffee, whatever you got. Whether it's food, whether it's drink, whatever you got, man, raise it high to the sky. Because we're going to howl at the sun, let the world know that we are alive, that we're well, that we're never going to give up, We're going to keep on smiling, and that we know as creatures that we shall one day die. So we are going to make the absolute best in a well-rounded way of today. And we're doing it by starting off with this show. So let's go ahead and get this started, kiddos. All right. Let's see here. Let's crank that up a little bit. Hope you got your straw. So we got to get it straight to the dome. Supercharged, high octane, pedal to the metal kind of stuff. Here we go. I want to hear you howl. Come on. Let your neighbors know. Let your family know. Let them know how pumped you are. You are alive. You are a child of God. Come on. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, I love this show. I love this show. We're going to have more tunes, man. I actually got a couple more tunes lined up for next week, man. We got a couple more tunes. But that will always have a special place in my heart, by the way. Yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to start with some terrible news, actually. Islamo-fascist terror. I don't know if you guys have seen this. 3 dead, several injured after a church attack in France here. I've heard people say Nice. I've heard people say Nice, France. Let's see. French police neutralized and arrested a man Thursday morning after a knife attack inside a church, which left at least 3 dead and several injured. Beyond the church attack, the gunman in Avignon, and the stabbing at the French consulate, there have also been 2 other foiled attacks in Paris. And is it Lyon? Lyon? I hate doing that, man. And the French are tricky. Dude. Oh, man. I always get flack, dude. Of all the different, languages, whenever I try to quote something and I have to, and I do this, I want to Americanize it every time. We mentioned this yesterday. I just want to say it in the worst way possible, right? And just say, yeah, I'm an American. What are you going to say? But I always get flack, man. Because I got people who know some French who listen to the show, people who reach out to me, and they're like, dude, you really did hack that up, And I'm like, I probably did. Yeah, the alleged attacker here is a recent migrant from Tunisia, now in custody for killing 3 in Notre Dame Church on Thursday morning, and a 21-year-old migrant from Tunisia, said to have arrived in France only this month after crossing the Mediterranean. The report states that the migrant came to Europe by way of the island of Lampedusa. Yeah. That fact is potentially of political importance. It's an Italian island and has been a major waypoint for migrants coming to Europe from North Africa. Yeah. Now, it says world leaders have expressed thoughts and prayers for the victims. Let me know in the comments. Has the Pope said anything about this, by the way? Has the Pope said anything about this? I know that the Pope came out against Charlie Hebdo. I know that they're saying, you shouldn't be making fun of religions and stuff like that. But you've got Angela Merkel, deeply shaken by the terrible murders. Dutch Prime Minister came out. Turkish government, which has been at odds with France in recent weeks, also expressed solidarity. Tensions between Turkey and France have been high in recent days. Yeah. Been pretty rough between them. Update. The victim was almost beheaded. Of the 3 dead in Thursday's attack, 2 victims were women and 1 was a man. One of those women, we now know, was killed next to the front of Notre Dame Church. French media reporting she was nearly completely beheaded. A development from earlier reports that stated a throat had been cut. The man who died was also killed inside the church. He was a server or sacristan. Update 11:45. Police shoot Allah Akbar gunman dead in a separate incident. A second separate incident, so this is another one, has taken place in the French city of Avignon. Police shot dead in Allah Akbar shouting gunmen during an exchange of fire, but there have been no other reported injuries. Police have not yet declared the incident a terror attack. Yeah, because if people are running around everywhere and they've got a gun and they're screaming Allah Akbar and they're doing that crap, oh yeah, they might just be out for a jog. They might, it's true. I mean, maybe they're just, that's just what they do. That's some Durka crap, dude. Straight up terror Durka stuff, dude. Big time. Crazy lunatics, man. France, you got to save yourselves. You got to save yourselves. You may not know this, but there is a war against you. There is a war for your land. There is a war for your culture, and it's part of a greater overall war for civilization. Exclusive audio. Oh, come on now. Really? Please tell me it's going to let me do this. Exclusive audio. Hunter Biden asks himself, what is the soul of a man with no consequence in sight? That's a good question, by the way. That's a good question, by the way. An audio file from Hunter Biden's hard drive obtained by Gateway Pundit features Hunter Biden pondering, what is the soul of man with no consequence in sight? Think about that. That's actually profound. And for a guy living literally in a cesspool of depravity, drug addiction, sex addiction, he had a Pornhub channel. He has stuff, he has video and picture footage with family members. Sick crap. Minors walking around naked, smoking crack. And by the way, wasn't it Secret Service in the Biden-Obama time where one of the Secret Service members that was stationed at Joe Biden's house was very unsettled by how he would walk around the house completely naked like that? Like father, like son. It's terrible, by the way. I said that I was going to read one of these stories. And I want to do that, man. Right now. We're actually going to start with Jim, who ran away from his... Oh no, we read that one yesterday. Henry King, who chewed bits of string and was early cut off in dreadful agonies. Okay? I say that like in passing. I'm like, oh yeah, Henry King, who chewed bits of string and was early cut off in dreadful agonies. Like it's no thing. And it's a kid's book, by the way. You got to pick it up. I have it linked. I have it linked on the website, I believe from not yesterday, but the day before. Okay, Wolfpack Wednesday. But I think that this is important because so much of what we're dealing with is the fact that in our lives we are digesting, we're taking in, we're trying all of these things, which is it's a completely normal human thing to want to experiment, to want to learn new things. We talked about this when it came to food, for example. And all of the accusations from the weirdos looking through the SJW goggles saying, that we're food appropriating because, we like to eat Chinese food and stuff. But it can go too far. And in fact, it's when it goes too far in these ways that's when it's really bad. That's when we start to see all of these problems. And it's especially troublesome when we believe in our hearts that there's no consequences, whether in this life or in the next. It gets really bad. In fact, this is a serious thing because it's easy. It is really easy to rag on Hunter Biden. It's easy. He has literally put himself out there in a way you'd never imagined. It's one of those things that what you do in darkness is revealed in light. He never imagined that this would happen, but it has. We can see the most embarrassing, vulnerable, wicked, depraved things that he's had to live with. But he lived with it in such a way and believed that he had no consequences in such a way that he was unafraid. He was unafraid to basically record and take pictures of everything. Even driving, smoking crack. And at the end of the day, he asks, what is the soul of a man with no consequences in sight? Henry King, who chewed bits of string and was early cut off in dreadful agonies. The chief defect of Henry King was chewing little bits of string. At last he swallowed some which tied itself in ugly knots inside. And look, we'll show real quick. We will show you. Actually, let's get over here, man. Boop. Nope. Sorry about that. Main banner. I had the Wolfgang song. I apologize. There we go. Now you can see it bigger. Okay. There's Henry King. By the way, I hope you guys enjoy the reading, man. You know, we laugh. We have a good time. So, yes. The chief defect of Henry King was chewing little bits of string. At last he swallowed some which tied itself in ugly knots inside. Physicians of the utmost fame were called at once, but when they came, they answered as they took their fees, there is no cure for this disease. Henry will very soon be dead. His parents stood about his bed, lamenting his untimely death, when Henry, with his latest breath, cried, "Oh, my friends, be warned by me, that breakfast, dinner, lunch, and tea are all the human frame requires. With that, the little wretched child expires." And look at this. I'll show you the artwork again. Right? There are certain things in this world that we need. There are certain things that are required for our health, our overall health, not just our bodies, but our minds, our emotions, our social interactions. These are of great importance. And if you are eating all of these things that you ought not to do, and you are taking into yourself those things that are not meant for your benefit, Hunter Biden. It's sad. We should actually pray for him. In fact, today I ask that you really do that you genuinely pray for him. Meet Walter Wallace Jr., the career criminal whose shooting by police triggered riots in Philly. Okay, I'm going to switch back over here. This is informationliberation.com. Black Lives Matter rioting and looting in Philadelphia on Monday night was triggered in response to police shooting a career criminal with a lengthy record who charged them with a knife. Oh, that's not even all of them. So here we go with that. So there he is. There he is. Look at this. Like I said yesterday, man, they're not doing what Rosa Parks did. Rosa Parks was smart. She was smart. She knew, you got to figure out if you want to change something that's legit. If you want to change something that's legit, tactics matter. Icons matter. Who you put up as being your saint, your figure that you are going to rally behind. She knew this. She was part of a committee that was planning with all this stuff that she eventually volunteered for. And she became that icon, by the way. Walter Wallace Jr., 27, has so many mugshots, I could not fit them all into one properly sized header image. So a very troubled person. Well, he's on lithium, right? That's serious, man. I used to be prescribed lithium. That's some darkness, by the way. The media, which has done everything in their power to either ignore or cover up the BLM riots in Philly, chose to use what appears to be a high school prom photo of Wallace in their stories, which didn't dare use the R word, i.e. riots, despite having over a dozen mugshots at their disposal. So here's what they ran with. Now, I saw a video, by the way. I saw a video of the children, and the children were talking about the dad and saying, they were asking him questions. All their names, I think, began with Z. It was interesting. I think my sister's kind of got a weird, quirky thing like that with her kids, with P, right? And so, so the thing is like, the kids are on the camera, and they're talking, and they're, saying, my dad spent a lot of time with me. My dad played with me. And there's probably some truth to that. But their dad also went to jail a lot. Not a little bit. A lot. He went to jail over and over and over and over. Arrested over and over and over and over and over again. It's super sad. It's super sad. And you've got right here the criminal record going back so far. I can't even find the entire thing. I mean, look. Handgun, robbery, aggravated assault, handgun. Yeah. Violation of, protection from abuse order. Simple assault, resisting arrest, simple assault, other dangerous weapon with aggravated assault, domestic abuse. Unbelievable. Again, people go through different things in life. I understand this, by the way. I understand this intimately. And so I'm not trying to just dog somebody and be like, yo, you're just the worst guy. You deserve everything you get. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say, first of all, is that this person, right? I don't want to just say the system let them down. There are many systems at play here, and I don't throw it on the government to be able to figure this one out. But the surrounding group, when the kids were there and the kids were talking, and the kids were talking about the dad, you had all these people around them, and I was really grateful to hear this. You had a lot of people around them talking about, God and Jesus and other things, praise the Lord kind of stuff. And I thought, your religion was impotent here. Your religion, and at the end, it really came down to a fist in the air, and all black lives still matter. That's totally true, right? But other people's lives matter too, and if a guy's walking around wielding a knife and he's got a long laundry list like this, he's gonna get popped. Different groups let it down. It's just the way that goes. And then look, so he portrays himself. Here's how he portrayed himself. People are allowed. Look, I believe in gun rights, man. I don't get on people with this. I don't like it. And I know people, by the way. I know people who support gun rights, but all of a sudden when it comes to black people owning guns, they get really weirded out by that. I don't at all. I say, no, man, you should own guns legally. You should practice with them. You should know how to properly use them and store them. Okay? And people would say, well, this glamorizes it, and say, dude, what do you think? Man, you want to know it's like gun porn, right? Ammo porn. That's, dude, if people think that is not a common thing for white people, they're cuckoo crazy. They're lying. Okay? Because it is. There's something about it. You say, look, I got this mega dope weapon. Shooting guns is fun. They're out in the country, man. So I don't want to dog them too bad. And some of it had to do with music videos and rap songs and stuff like that. I'm not going to dog them too bad about that. But that is not only the way you portray yourself, but then you end up also you're kind of like living that life. It's one thing to say, oh man, I'm doing a bunch of drugs. It's another thing to stop singing, go home, and be doing all of those drugs. Same thing with guns. You're aggravating and assaulting like crazy. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But again, it's a serious problem. Another serious problem, and this is devastating, by the way, guys. This is no joke. Black woman describes anguish of her boutique's destruction by Philadelphia looters. It's devastating, man. We won't talk about the entire thing. I'll show you just a brief little clip here. Oh, no.
Terreo's homemade.
Hold on. Yeah. I'm muting that because, they do this all the time, man. I get these stupid ads. Man. ABC 6 or whatever, and they show all this, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to be, number one, I don't want to have to say, oh, I have an embedded advertising, paid advertising. I don't want to do any of that crap. But also, man, I don't really, I don't know if I support that product.
Terreo's homemade. Make every day delicious.
The journey was long and rough. We just came up on our 2-year mark that we've been here. So we was also celebrating at our anniversary of our 2-year mark in business.
Entrepreneur and Pierce College alum Jamila Scurry was completely left in shock Tuesday
this.
when her boutique store was destroyed following the city's recent looting and unrest amid the death of 27.
That right there, by the way, you see all that? That right there, that is not reparation. That is not grieving. That's sin. That is out and open, grotesque sin. Those Jordans, again, the bits of string. Those Jordans, that stuff at that boutique, that is not what you need. That junk is going to kill you. That junk is unhealthy for you. Not just legally speaking, not just economically speaking, that's hurting your own community, by the way. And not just your own local community, but your own racial community. It's hurting. It's hurting them. Bad news. And spiritually, they're sinning they're sinning like crazy. Look at this.
7-year-old Walter Wallace.
Look at that.
It's been a long, rough journey from selling our home, moving, taking everything in our savings to basically follow our dreams and aspirations, me and my brother.
Jamila and her brother Jamil are both owners of Levanta Boutique in North Philadelphia. But like many small businesses who survived the difficulties amid the pandemic,
so they're going through this. They're trying to survive the pandemic. They're trying to keep on going. And what ends up happening? They're getting looted like crazy. They are getting looted like crazy. Yeah. Oh, I've been assured, Leon. Yes. That I got it right. The French pronunciation. James says, what I don't like as a black person is when other black people tell me that every single other black person, no matter what, is my brother or sister. Sorry, but no. That serial abuser isn't my kin. Oh, man. Powerful, bro. Powerful, dude. That's why, I have people, on the right. You're going to get, you get out to where I am on the right in the spectrum. You're going to have people coming at you saying some serious, American Renaissance styled stuff, Jared Taylor type stuff, Richard Spencer type stuff. You're going to have that. And I'm like, dude, you think that you are my brother? I don't think so, bro. You're cuckoo crazy, man. You're the kind of person that's really bothered by the fact that I'm, hooking up fat and making a bunch of babies that are mixed bloods, dude. You get bothered by that. You'd not prefer that. At the bare minimum, you'd be like, I don't prefer that at all. Maybe you should send her packing. I don't think so, dude. And, I don't want to sit there and say, because, there are dynamics of that make that part of your kin. But at the same time, because you let's say historically, and again, historically, cultures and civilizations, the way that those things play itself out. But at the same time, man, I have way more in common with people like you, for example, a black man. I have way more in common with you than I do with some crazy SJW weirdo. I don't care how white they are. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me at all. I'm asked in the comments, Mr. Bannister, do black rifles matter? Yes. Do black rifles, man. Yeah. Black semi-automatics, dude. Black handguns. Dude, all of them. All of them matter. Yes. Justice for insert criminal name here. So I'm going to go loot a Foot Locker. Dude, it's true. That's what's going on. And that is what the left, because the right does a decent job of pointing that out, but most of the time it's just simply mockery. They don't actually go further and explain not only why that's bad, but what people should actually do to, make it better and to try to prevent that. And some of it's social. I mean, some of it's like, if you make a criticism like that to a black person or to many, as you saw in the video, many black people, they will look at that as though you're white-splaining or that you're some kind of crazy racist who's forcing your culture. And you're like, look, I'm trying to tell them that it's bad to loot. I'm trying to tell them that it's bad to ruin the hard work, the discipline, and the dreams of another person. And in this specific case, it happens to be somebody who's black. In that specific case, it's irrelevant, but in this scheme here, it's like, look, man, You know, the idea that that's fine. Make the case that it's fine. Make the case that that is perfectly fine. Unbelievable, dude. Yeah. Totally unbelievable. Real quickly, on election news. Let's see. Man. Texas Attorney General investigating voter fraud operation following Project Veritas expose. Dude, this lady is so toast, by the way. Yeah, she's like mega toast. Man, her video, and then oh man, dude. What's his name? James O'Keefe. James O'Keefe, man, he's finding these people in his video and just walking right up to them with a camera and a microphone saying, "Hi, I'm James O'Keefe of Project Veritas. We have a video of you saying this and this." And they're like, what? Totally taking them off guard. Because what they're saying, dude, is wicked violent, wicked evil, and in this particular case, big time illegal. The lady even admits on the video that what she's doing is illegal. Unbelievable. She's getting paid thousands of dollars to help Joe Biden get elected. And by the way, I'm pretty sure that this lady is a Republican. Yeah. Unbelievable, guys. Success. Michigan voter integrity lawsuits result in new directive empowering poll challengers. It's true. One day after vowing to fight a crucial, this is over at Big League Politics. One day after vowing to fight a crucial voter integrity lawsuit in the courts, the Michigan Attorney General's office has conceded to demands that plaintiffs believe will clarify the role of poll challengers in the state. The case was heard in the Michigan Court of Claims, which springs from shocking Detroit Leaks revelations. We've been covering that, man, by the way. We've been on the ball with that. That show election workers cackling as their instructor explains how they will be able to use COVID-19 social distancing rules to disenfranchise poll challengers. It's easy because the idea was if they can't get within 6 feet of you, how are they going to be able to see the election roll? How are they going to be able to challenge any of those ballots? You just simply say, hey, we're over here, you're over there, you can't come close to us. It's going to cause all sorts of problems. Dude, police are going to get called. By the way, you guys got to really prepare yourselves. This is not a joke. The Assistant Attorney General Eric Grill, he said this, "At this point, Your Honor, I'm happy to report that the parties and the attorneys have been working very diligently this morning to try to reach a resolution, and I'm happy to report that we have." So this is what they've said apparently. Who's Granda? Who's that? Oh yeah, okay. Speaking on behalf of Michigan Attorney General, who's Granda? Okay, so Granda is the one who appears on behalf of the plaintiffs. Okay, so it says this right here. The new directive would be approximate to this. And this is where it's going to get slippery because they're making a new directive, but they haven't committed to the exact wording, which is okay, right? It wasn't the exact wording, but the substance of that is in this. So it's hopeful. Challengers and poll watchers have certain rights and responsibilities established by Michigan election law. Challengers and poll watchers are required to wear masks. So if you're there, you're going to be required to wear a mask that cover the nose and the mouth to the extent medically able to do so, consistent with the MDHHS order, and you will need to maintain social distancing while not performing these legal duties. Challengers and poll watchers should maintain at least 6 feet of distance between themselves and election workers and voters as reasonably possible. However, to the extent that it's necessary to temporarily stand in closer proximity. So if you got to look, you got to look. And it has to be temporary. You have to be able to go. So you can't just be chilling shoulder to shoulder with people. But you're allowed to get close to them, to have the challenge heard, to observe the poll book, okay, and perform any other legal duty. Challengers and poll watchers are permitted to do so. Now, when they're done, they got to get back to the 6 feet thing. So people were working hard on that. That's one of those things. But, we're going to have to really ramp up, I'm telling you, because we're facing a time where we're going to have a ridiculous amount of problems. I mean, there's an article And I'll go through it more next week. But I'll just put it up right now by Shane Trejo, again, over at Big League. I love Big League, by the way. I have differences with them, sometimes. I have differences with them. But protest by the tens of millions, left-wing coalition demands chaos in the streets to force Trump's ouster following the election. And this is talking about the group Rise and Resist, and they're kind of a hub, right? They're trying to bring together a host of different groups, and they're being successful. And we're going to go over their strategy, but just know, whether it's here, whether it is in Minnesota, which we saw through Breitbart yesterday, exclusive leaked document, leftists fear that Trump may win Minnesota. Which would be awesome, by the way. Again, plot post-election mass mobilization. This is what we're in for. And it's no matter what, by the way. It is no matter what. It doesn't matter if he wins. It doesn't matter if he loses. It doesn't matter if he declares that he won. It doesn't matter. Mass mobilization. The idea for these people is terror. It is terror. By definition, by the way. By definition, because they believe that it's by any means necessary. And they really do mean this. They really do mean this. And they've allowed the idea, and I warned people. I said, when you start using words like Nazi, and you start using words like fascist, and you start using those words, and people are using them to describe others, they may have never read a book about any of that stuff in their lives. They may have no idea how to distinguish between even things like libertarian communism and anarcho-syndicalism, or cosmopolitanism, or any of these groups, right? Stalinism. What's the difference between Stalinism and Marxism? What's the difference? They may have no clue about that. They may have no clue about the difference between a paleoconservative and someone who identifies as alt-right proper, right? Someone who identifies with that term as defined by that group of people. If you sit there and say, well, what's the difference between that or a paleo-libertarian? They have no clue at all. Zero. They may have never even heard the phrase neocon in their entire life, but yet they're going around Nazi, Nazi, fascist, fascist. Those people are going out and saying by any means necessary, and they've embraced that. They've said it, and I warned, if you say that and you believe that and you don't repent from that, it is inevitably going to get to the place where you start asking yourselves questions about incrementally increasing the kinds of violence that they're willing to express and display. Because if they believe that you are Hitler, are you allowed to punch Hitler? I mean, it might not be Hitler. It might be that pumpkin pie baking grandma with the MAGA hat. But, it's kind of Hitler. You know what I mean? And so you were at this place. So they started there, and it incrementally went up and up and up and up and up. And these people are freaking out. And they're willing to destroy. They're willing to destroy. And we have to be prepared, guys. We have to know. We have to know what we're in for. A little bit funnier news. Not really funny. Tragic. I gave up on this organization a long time ago. Critics called out Girl Scouts for tweeting, then deleting congratulatory post about Amy Coney Barrett. Girl Scouts, man, they're SJW weirdos, by the way. SJW weirdos. They've been that way for a minute. The Girl Scouts of America sparked controversy on Wednesday by posting and then deleting a congratulatory tweet about Amy Coney Barrett joining the ranks of 5 women seated on the U.S. Supreme Court. Here's what they said. They said, earlier today, we shared a post highlighting the 5 women who've been appointed to the Supreme Court. It was quickly viewed as a political and partisan statement, which was not our intent, so we removed it. Reaction to the post, reaction to removing it, was just as controversial as Twitter users replied, including one who posted a Girl Scouts post from 2019 about women on the Supreme Court. Sandra Day O'Connor, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor broke gender barriers in the nation's highest court. But that's only part of what makes them inspiring role models worth honoring. That was during Women's History Month. And nobody went after it. The left. Where was the left on that? Where was the left on that? When it boils down, you know what it's about? Murdering babies. Murdering babies. Murdering babies and contracepting babies, whether that is through medical contraception, right? Different devices that you want to use, or whether it's through, I don't know, LGBTQing babies out of existence. Doesn't matter. Same result, man. Same result. And they want, look, that's what this group's about. And so you sit there and you go, dude, so really, it's kind of weird, man. It's like the sickos that come up to your house trying to sell cookies, and you say, well, what are you guys about? Abortion. What? What? We're about, with babies. We're about, contraception and stuff. You're not even cute anymore. Get out of here. Get off my yard, you sicko. Sick little freaks. I'll pray for you, but get off my yard. I won't support them anymore, man. I love their cookies, too. I love them, dude. I love those cookies. But I won't support them anymore. But, it's like the Scouts. I won't support the Scouts either. They used to be the Boy Scouts back when, they believed in boys being boys. They don't believe that anymore. Don't believe that anymore. Okay. Let's see here. I want to look up some of this stuff here. I had some ideas, man, about corruption in big tech, how to restrain big tech immediately. Okay, I actually have this, man. This is what I want to do. Here's an article. Okay. Raising aristocrats. Now, I want to talk about kids. I want to talk about raising families. And somebody had sent this article by over at countercurrents.com, Raising Aristocrats. And the thing is William DeVere. And, I don't agree with everything in this article, but I think it's a good example of saying, we can benefit even from people that we disagree with. That we can eat the meat and spit out the bone. And I thought this is actually excellent on a number of different things. And it might even last for more than one episode. Because it's rather good. Okay, again, not every bit of, I don't agree with him on everything he believes. I don't agree with every single recommendation, but there's so many good things to pull out of this that I said, man, this is a fascinating and excellent piece. And I like Nietzsche, which is an example, by the way, of being able to say that you happen to like somebody and be able to benefit from writings of people that may disagree with you on a number of very important things, by the way. Quote, "Oh, my brothers, I dedicate and direct you to a new nobility. You shall become procreators and cultivators and sowers of the future. Verily, not to a nobility that you might buy like shopkeepers, and with shopkeepers' gold. For whatever has its price has little value. Now whence you come shall henceforth constitute your honor. But whither you are going, your children's land shall you love. This love shall be your new nobility, the undiscovered land in the most distant sea. For that I bid your sails search and search." Thus spoke Zarathustra. On old and new tablets. It's a fantastic book, by the way. Brilliant, beautifully written. I as a writer, just simply as a writer, and I love Nietzsche. And it was actually he was the first book on philosophy that I ever bought. I was in Dallas, and I was down at like a Barnes and Noble, basically, and I'm looking around and I see this section on philosophy, and I'd never read anything to do with philosophy, never, and I'm sitting there. And I'm going through the philosophy section. I'm looking at all these books. And I already started to get into theology a little bit, right, with Calvinism, just a little. And I go and I'm looking at these philosophy books. And I'm trying just to read the names of them because I didn't know what these words meant. Epistemology, metaphysics, ontology, phenomenology. I didn't know what this stuff meant. And some of it I didn't even know really how to pronounce. I had to really look at it. And, what's that mean? And I decided that I was going to do that for a while. It was almost a month. It might have actually only been broken when my cousin Dustin, I'm looking at the books and he comes racing around the side and I see him out of the corner of my face and he just bwham, and he just kicks me just with the tip of his shoe right in the crotch. I was like, oh, I'm tumbling to the ground like, oh, what'd you do? And it was at that moment I look up and I see will to power. Will to power. I'm on the floor, looking through water in my eyes. You know, a lot of throbbing going on. And rage inside. I'm going to get you back. But the thing is, I picked up that book. Bought the book. Right here. According to the writer, with many on the right, I've pondered the best means of insulating my children from the degeneracy of contemporary society. We talk about this, guys. We've talked about this about why I send my kids to Sacred Heart. Why I don't send them to public school anymore. We like some of the people. We got along with teachers. But the philosophy and the cultus that it is creating is wicked, not good, not very well thought out. Or if it is thought out, again, very bad, not good. We're out. But how do we insulate our kids? And how do we inculcate the virtues and mindset of the heroic, of the traditional world? He says it's clear that the true right must develop a distinctive culture that sets it apart from the corrupt mainstream. And this includes the education of our young. You know, that's, again, you know, I remember when our church, our parish, we have nuns, right? And we have these nuns come in. And when they arrived, we had a huge party to introduce them and to greet them. And when our priest was talking about it, that was the core of it all, saying, you know, it's one thing to say and tell people this is what you ought to believe. It's a different thing to say we are actually creating a culture here, something that we can live and move and have our being within, that is not a reservation mentality, but is a heartbeat that extends, that it's home is where your heart is, and then you go into the world. And when you're into that world, you are spreading like leaven into the batch. But it's a culture. Not just an idea, but something that you can feel, right? It's palpable. He did not promote, right? Talking about Nietzsche, he did not wish merely to preserve classical learning, but to revive classical living. Again, same with the school. That's why we are staunch about the idea of the Latin Mass, or at least getting as traditional as you possibly can, and saying you need to understand this, even to do with technologies and stuff like that, and saying what's the proper use for that. We got in a conversation yesterday about that in the house. He did not promote an education that merely prepared youth for the mundane aspects of adulthood, or attempted to force a veneer of culture on them, but one that would lead to higher men, and I would add women, and with them to higher peaks of human existence. But we ask ourselves, why do we even have kids? You know, we got a lot of parents that watch the show. In fact, my kids assure me that this show is adult humor, like dad humor and mom humor. And he's like, you know, I don't understand your stuff sometimes. I don't understand it. Why don't you show me some, you know, Minecraft memes and stuff? I should start doing that a little bit more. You know, I'll admit it. We got a lot of people who are a certain age. And so we have to ask ourselves, merely posing the question is perhaps indicative of our decadence. But we live in these decadent times, so it's worth actually pondering. Why do we have kids? What is your reason? If somebody asked you, what is your reason for having kids? Do we have children for personal fulfillment? For someone to take care of us in old age? That would be self-gratification. Do we do it because life is a gift? Sometimes. Maybe for some people, but certainly not for all. Because some divinity wills it. Only some religions, it'd be one of ours, in fact. And at any rate, not for everyone all the time. Out of a biological imperative in order to perpetuate our bloodline and race, to keep the human race going. This doesn't account for why we should feel compelled to perpetuate the race in the first place. And why do we refrain from having children? Especially when we have the ability. More disposable income, more free time, more opportunities for travel and material acquisition. Again, obviously, self-gratification. Do we do it so as not to interfere with our professional lives or vocations? I like that he said this. All but a handful will discover too late that was a mistake. Like what was it? The writer or the producer? Who was it, man? Of Sex and the City? Realizing the loneliness that comes later. Yeah. Some people say so as not to burden the earth. We've talked about that. The weirdos that sit there and they're like, well, I'm not having kids because of global warming. I don't want to bring any more people into the world because it's going to just make it worse. And we're going to die, instead of within 10 years, we're going to die within 9. Weirdos, dude. Or systematic racism. And I'm a white person. Whipping themselves in the back. Better not have any kids. But the thing is, when you decide to have kids, this is serious business. And we need to treat this way, starting young, in fact. That what we are in, this crazy, amazing world that we live in, is serious business, guys. How are we preparing our kids for this? When do we prepare our kids? How do we do it? And what starts with ourselves, by the way. Right here. Let your victory and your freedom long for a child. You shall build living monuments to your victory and your liberation. You shall build over and beyond yourself. But first you must be built yourself. Perpendicular in body and soul, you shall not only reproduce yourself, but produce something higher. Dude, it's so true. And I think there's a mix of all of these things. Even of the selfish parts. I think it all goes together in the human experience. But ultimately, the idea is we have children because we want to create something better. Leave this better than we found it. Nietzsche's answer is that we do it to serve as perpetuators of noble values and culture. What values are you spreading to your kids? What values are you teaching them with your lives? What culture are you participating in with them? What culture are you creating even within your own home or within your workspace? And with them, the very means of overcoming the all too human for ourselves and for those who follow us. Yeah. I can imagine some people saying, well, you're valorizing children. I agree with him on that some people would say that. And I'm like, no, you actually need to. You need to. Because that is the future. You will one day die and they will continue on after you are gone. What are you leaving behind? What does the world have to look forward to? In part because of what you've contributed. Not only through reproduction, but through raising that child up, that young boy and that young girl. You can look right now, you can see, look around you. Go and look at the world. It's everywhere. Go and look at the billboards. Go and look at the signs in the mall. Go and look at commercials. Go and look at stuff on YouTube. Go and look at stuff on social media. Go and look at stuff on Netflix and Prime and see a generation of people that gave up on the idea of nobility, of having manners, self-discipline, delayed gratification, saying you should put this off for tomorrow, the idea of working towards something. and saying, I'm going to discipline myself and not just gratify myself like a bonobo. We're under the regime of bonobo ethics, by the way. Atheistic, effeminate ethics. What about modesty? What are we doing? Are we raising our kids with modesty? What do we even have? Yeah, somebody asked me, Soul Assassin, do you really need Nietzsche to inspire you when you already have Christian biblical teaching that do exactly that and more? Name anything that I've said so far that's not biblical. And bugger off. You know, yeah, Soul Assassin. Here's the thing, by the way. You know, we live in a world, this is a person, you know, maybe it's like, look, we only focus on the Bible. That's just not where I'm coming from. I don't believe in sola scriptura. That might be your thing. It's not mine. It's not my thing. I believe that we can find, and this was something given to me, by the way. This was something sent to me. I actually care about what readers send me. And if I can find something to eat the meat and spit out the bone with a different group, and with somebody that I enjoy and appreciate things that they've written about, you know, you're like, it bothers me, by the way, and I don't want to get too distracted from this. But this is something, look, let's tie this into what we're talking about. There are a lot of people that don't believe that beauty matters or that good writing matters and that God's gifts and talents to the world, that he shines light on the just and the unjust, and that the rain comes down on the just and the unjust. And all we just simply need is the Bible. And I sit there and say, where do you even get that idea from? Do you even know how many other books are mentioned in the Bible by people who wrote books? Do you even know the list of those? How is it that Paul was able to quote one of the poets? You know, how is it that he was able to do this? Was he only sitting there reading scrolls and saying there's no other, you know, we don't have to read anything else? You know, I see that there's so much, by the way, in what we talked about. There's so much in this that you can sit there and say, this is wholesome. This is heroic. This is righteous. This is goodness. These are things to aspire to. And with nuance, by the way. And recognizing some of the people who share links with the show. So no, I don't need that. But I'm grateful for it. I hope that answers your question. And again, bugger off. To what degree is this even possible in 21st century America? Few of us have the resources for the classical aristocratic education, and most of the institutions that traditionally provided this education have been hopelessly compromised anyway. It's true. So what do you do? What do you do? You know, I have a video, and I'm going to break this down because we're coming up on the second hour. We're done. I'm going to break this down, and we're actually going to do this, you know, and maybe I'll dedicate it to Soul Assassin. Maybe I'll dedicate it to Soul Assassin. Come on back. I told you to bugger off. Come on back. Come on back. Get back in here. Get back in here. Because we're going to dedicate a segment to the next couple shows to parenting. Okay, and specifically, I even have an article. I'll show you the other article I want to talk about. That brings this up. Let's see here. How to restrain big tech immediately. That's public health measures. Hold on. Is that the only one? No. Okay, I have one that talks about family and treating. Okay, this is it. This is one of them, and talking about big tech in the family, and the role of reading. I had a listener email me recently. I'll get down personal with you guys. Hold on. Let's get in here. By the way, yes, Kathy in the comments, miss you bunches. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate it very, very, very much. We're a family-friendly show, by the way. Yeah. I miss you for real. And Mr. Petgrave Show, amen, real talks. Thank you, man. Dude, I really appreciate that, actually. I really appreciate that. We try our best. You know, but I'll just heart to heart with you guys real quick. All right? before we get to memes is that, you know, we can talk about politics all day long, and it's a lot of fun to do, and we can talk about the funny stories all day long, and we can talk about all the controversies all day long, and I enjoy that. But the truth is, these things are like a blur, right? They come and they go. And, you know, a lot of you guys, and even me, I mean, I'm the guy talking about them. I'm the guy talking about these stories and you know, having a good time. And afterward, you know, I'm going through it again and finding links and everything else to put a table of contents in the description and everything so people can go to their favorite parts. So I'm watching this stuff a lot. But if you asked me, what did you talk about on this show 3 weeks ago? I might have a hard time. Even, you know, maybe a couple I'd remember, but I have a hard time. But you know what I don't have a hard time remembering? Every single day, how much I love my children and how grateful I am that God has given me an amazing wife, amazing children, and he's given me a responsibility to do my best, not just to teach them and not just to discipline them, right? Instructing them in the ways, but also to be an example for them. And so, you know, to sit there and say, it's one of these things where, you know, we have a responsibility, a God-given mandate to raise these children in the instruction of the Lord, and to know that this is a well-rounded thing, that it requires, it's multifaceted. And there's this kind of weird, this weird, I don't want to call it a mysticism. What do you call that, man? Not hermeticism. It's this weird religious idea that, you know, all it needs is just a religion. That's all it needs. It doesn't need to be well-rounded, or that the religion doesn't apply to other aspects of life, for example. And that it's just strictly religious precepts. And that's all that matters, is just that you got the download in the brain. This is false. This is false. And in fact, it's damaging. You may have a bunch of this stuff in the brain, but you don't have the culture around it that nurtures it. You don't have an environment. And wow, good. It's good for you. You're like a solipsist. It's all inside your brain. Good job. You need to be able to see how those principles can apply. And you need to be an example of how they apply. Not just as an individual, but with the church, with your business, with your marriage, with the way that you eat, with the way that you exercise, the way that you engage with nature, even animals. Things all around you. God created this world. We're taking dominion inside of it. And it's not just simply by downloading the right stuff into the brain. It's fleshing it out with fear and trembling. And as a parent, there's a lot of fear and trembling going on, or there ought to be, because it's a major, major thing. And so to go through and to describe what are the pitfalls? What are things that we have learned from history? What are the things that we have learned from the wisdom of the ages? What are the things that the church has taught us? What are the things that we can find in sacred scripture that give us those instructions, that give us the examples of people who've done that very thing? And how can we, where do we fall short of that? What can we do to change it? And how, once we've changed it, can we make it into a habit, to make it into something that we do all the time? Because the truth is, you're going to die. I'm going to die. We don't know when. And just supposing for a moment, just supposing that you live and I live a really happy life, and that we find ourselves at the end of, 80 plus strong years of our existence, and we're dying in a bed, right? Ideally, we're in a bed, and we got our family all around us and everything else, right? Maybe in bubbles and masked up because of COVID. You know what I mean? So we're like way down the road when people realize it's a big phony fake and we're surrounded by our families and our friends and stuff, and we look at them. Will we be glad for how we used our time? Will we look back And will we be proud and satisfied with how we made the very best of every day and every moment? Always recognizing our mortality, always recognizing memento mori, that we will one day die. Or will we look at that and lament the fact that we spent just absolutely ungodly amounts of time scrolling through a feed that ultimately is just a bunch of blinking lights? Will we remember all the times we walked past the kids as they're all zoned in with headphones on, focused on something, playing a bleep bloop blop game, and the whole world's going on around them, and at the end of the night, all they got is a headache, drained eyes, and a bunch of knowledge of memes? Will we look at the way that we spend time with our wives and our husbands? Will we look at that and say, this was productive? This was something that glorified God, that gave an example. It doesn't mean that every single child is going to live up to that, or even that they want to. But you've done what you can do. I've done what I can do. And we've done here what we can do. Yeah. What have we done? And what can we do? I think we can do way more. I think we do way more than what we're currently doing. Just look around us. It's the evidence of this, by the way. People don't remember their death. People do not keep it before their eyes that they shall die. And if they do, they don't think of it in the context of a creature-creator distinction. Because to them, life is nothing but an eminent frame of material phenomena that's sitting there all around them. And that too shall pass. They open their eyes, and they'll close them again, and that's the end. That's not us. We are people of bigger things, a bigger world, and a God who made us. All right. In the comments one more time before we go. Yes, Jesus is King. Very glad to hear that. Yes, absolutely true. Oh, and Soul Assassin. You didn't really say anything. Oh, I didn't? Weirdo. Oh, I didn't say anything? Yeah, weirdo. Dude, you got the wrong show here, champ. Yeah, if you want to go, why are you even watching a show, by the way? Why are you even watching a show? You sit there and you say, well, I want to hear people talk about these issues. Dude, why not just go and listen to an audio tape of the Bible? Why not just do that? I mean, what are you doing watching shows in the first place? The point was, what more are you getting from following Nietzsche? I'm not following Nietzsche. Weirdo. And people are like, dude, Jeremiah, you got to play nice with people in the comment section. I'm like, do I really got to play nice with Soul Assassin? Do I really got to play nice with that cat? What do you get by following Nietzsche? I don't follow Nietzsche. I don't follow him. Weirdo. Yeah, the entire problem of the modern West comes from following these moronic philosophers in the first place. You know what's amazing? Is you use the idea the West as if Christendom was just an enshrined Bible. Dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're using words just like a LARPer. Probably are one. You probably are a LARPer. Poor guy. Poor guy. Yeah, have you read Cicero, by the way? Have you read Seneca, by the way? Have you read Thomas Aquinas, by the way? Or are you one of those weirdos who thinks that the West was like sola scriptura? That it didn't have to do with liturgical traditions, ecclesiology and its effect on sociology, even on architecture. Wrong show, champ. Wrong show. But if you want to learn more about how to be a good dad, you want to learn how to be, not only a good dad, but a good husband. You want to learn how to be, a faithful citizen of the nation. If you want to learn how to be a good worker, somebody who truly believes what they're doing, loves what they're doing, and you want to do the best you can every single day, refusing to ever give up. You resolve deep inside, I will never give up. I will keep on smiling and I will always remember memento mori. I will one day die. And through it all, from beginning to end, the God is Alpha and Omega, and the Jesus is King. You feel like that? Stick around for the show. You might have to deal with, learning things. But you might like it. Okay. Meme time, guys. Meme time, guys. And we'll dedicate next week. We'll call it Soul Assassins. We'll call it that. Oh, dude. Okay, here we go. Let's get the comments scooched over. And I apologize. I don't mean to be too brutal, right? To people tuning in. I don't want to be too brutal. I mean, I don't want to burn them out. At the same time, I don't play footsies with people. If you came to be playing panty cake with me, hey, why don't you do what I say, mister? Why don't you go start a video show? Why don't you go do that? If that's what you're looking for. Oh, man. Okay, yep. And if you want to send any memes to us, by the way, like this one, dude, this is a huge chair. I actually kind of need that. Not because I need it, but because, dude, I would love it. I would love it. Yeah, here we go. So if you'd like to send memes to the show, make sure paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. You can find all that information by going to paleocratdiaries.com. Dude, look at this chair, man. Look at this chair. It's for a big boy or a big girl. You never know. You never know. We live kind of in a weird world. All right, let's see here. Reason 167 why adults are confusing to children. Well, okay, so is there a book on this, by the way? 364 days a year. Don't eat too much sugar or talk to people you don't know. On Halloween, ask strangers for as much candy as you want. You know what? That's kind of like Carnival. It kind of is. It's the time of venting. You have these strict rules, and maybe from a time where that's just simply true, kind of like Fat Tuesday. You have these strict rules throughout life and the hardship of the world. And for a time of the year, the peasant is the king. The village idiot is the king. And for a time of the year, you can, eat enough candy to make you sick. The only difference, of course, is that we live in a time where we are like completely surrounded by sugar. I mean, even Subway's subs, was it Ireland or Scotland, where they deemed that Subway, the bread, doesn't even qualify legally as bread anymore because of the sugar. Oh, man. Oh, buddy. Let's see. There has been a major recall on Reese's. Please bring them to my home so I can dispose of them properly. Dude, yeah, totally true. Totally true, not gonna lie. I look today, what is it? Halloween's what, tomorrow? But today's my party, the 4-men party. I'm going over to a guy's house. We're having fun, smoking cigars, smoking pipe, drinking a bunch of booze and stuff like that, singing amazing songs. It's going to be a total blast. And but I've made the exception, so if we have a major party, like on that day, I will make an exception and deviate from, I've been doing carnivore and enjoying it, by the way. We'll talk about that sometime. But yeah, candy, I'm eating some candy. Eating some candy for the day. When you see neighbors putting up Christmas decorations before Halloween. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, that actually makes me... I don't want to say it makes me mad, But it's kind of like one of those things like, dude, don't ruin this. Don't ruin this, I kind of want to, do some kind of messages, smoke signals or something to the neighbor to be like, bro, take it down. You're gonna ruin a good thing. Because there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Ah. Yeah, in the comments, I thank God for my husband, amazing husband, and outstanding father. Another one says, LARPer's gonna LARP. Oh, dude, totally true. Totally true. Yeah, Bethany said, Adam, you need this for the office. Oh, talking about the big chair. Yeah, the big chair. Shout out to all the parents whose kids have changed their minds today about their Halloween costumes. Oh, yeah, dude. My son, Ailey, ended up making all the kids made them their costumes because we do All Saints. So you dress up like somebody who did dynamic and amazing things for the Lord, and you have to learn about that person, and you talk about why the the things that that person does that you believe that you should emulate in your own life. And so my son wanted to be Athanasius. He wanted to be St. Paul. So Angela made him this amazing beard out of yarn. It looks awesome. And this outfit and stuff, you know, he looked awesome, but he didn't like it. She did all this work for days. And he's like, I don't know, it feels weird. I'm like, bro, you're dressed up like somebody from 2,000 years ago. You're wearing a sash, dude. You know, what do you expect, man? What do you expect? And he's like, I don't know if I want to wear it. Well, he did. I don't know how I feel about it. It doesn't look that cool. Dude, he tied for first place in his class. And the kid didn't want the candy, so my son got all the candy. By the way, pray for him. He had an MRI last night. I didn't cite it at the beginning of the show because it's not alarming. We did a test for human growth hormone recently with him. And he has, it's not dramatic, but it's like an 8 point something, like 8.2 or 8.4, and they were hoping that it'd be above 10. So it's not the worst, but it's bad enough. And protocol is, once that happens, you just got to see what's going on with the pituitary gland. So we went yesterday into the children's hospital. We had a good long talk after that too, you know, about, you know, things that are going on with that. 'Cause he was a brave trooper, man. He was really brave, dude. He's an awesome guy. Athanasius is an awesome young man, dude. I'm so proud of him. He's the one I talked about where I broke down. I was crying a couple weeks ago. He's an amazing boy. Let's see. When your kid takes up all the space in your bed, even though there should be plenty of space for you. Oh, yeah, dude. Yes. Okay. From Titanic, man, I feel this way. I've gotten to the point where you know, on a single bed, because we do pillow blankets. It's a family tradition. And we don't even let them sleep on him because we can't. I mean, they push you off the bed. I'm constantly saying, oh, scooch over. You know, pillow blankets goes back, man. That's even with our daughter, Sammy. You know, rest in peace to her. But I mean, that's like, she started it. And so it's a family tradition that will last a long time. But now we need 2 beds. So we need them real wide. We gotta lay it out now in a different room because they're just simply too huge to do pillow blankets. You know, where you get out as many pillows, as many blankets, you know, and you watch some vintage cartoon or you read a story or whatever. Play some games. We've done all of it. But I feel that way. And it always messes me up with my sleep, man. Leave the libtards to me, Father. Dude, yeah, look at him. It's obviously... Is that Photoshop? Are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, he's pretty tall, but is he that tall? I mean, he's like 20 foot. Oh, man. And yes, by the way, name call? Yeah. Yeah. If you can't handle that, dude, you are definitely LARPing. You're like very sensitive. You should maybe find, you know, a softer program. And the channel, yes, I'm on that channel. Holy Faith Media. That's correct. That's the name of the channel. We talk a lot about the Lord. Seriously, you need to chill out. It's not even about you playing nice. You're not making any sense. Oh, I'm making plenty of sense. I actually schooled you many times around. I schooled you. I kind of spun you like a dreidel, but that's okay. Why don't you go start a YouTube channel? Why don't you go start a show? If you really don't like what I say, you can interview me. You can contact me, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Or if you want to talk to the manager, Karen, you're welcome to go ahead and contact Jonathan. He's the manager of the network. Oh, man, dude. Yeah, you know me. When it's Spooktober, but also Leif Erikson Day. When is Leif Erikson Day, by the way? When is Leif Erikson, by the way? Let's see here. When the baby falls asleep on you, and you try to move them into the crib. Yes, like yeah, totally, man. You're super cautious. It's like playing with landmines, dude. It's like playing with landmines. You don't mess around with that, man, because them buggers, it's like, not only that, you want to make sure you don't even look at them. You don't want to even look at them, man. Yeah. By the way, if people are looking for Sola Scriptura from this show, I just got to remind people, Holy Faith Media is a Catholic network. Like, you know, my show is intentionally, and this was part of the deal coming into it, is I said, I'm not one of those weirdos who believes, and there's a place for this. I don't want to just say weirdos. There is a place for this where, you know, people who are like, look, the only music that we should do or listen to is music that every song talks about Jesus, or maybe it's just chant, or every painting needs to be about a saint, or it needs to have a cross in it and stuff like that. I'm not that. I don't even believe that. I'm philosophically opposed to that. I don't think that's Catholic. I don't think that's Catholic at all. And so, you know, it's one of those things that it's a philosophical disagreement. In fact, if you want to know more about that, go to The Meaning of Catholic, a channel that I'm actually a contributor to. And you can say, oh, this guy, there's a video of talking about music with my buddy Dave Hodges. We talked about music and whether or not people who identify as Christian, whether or not they should only restrict their music to stuff like classical and chant. And we oppose that. Just the way that goes. Let's see. Let's see. Looking for Halloween candies, finding empty wrappers. Yeah, dude. Yes, I do that, man. In the past, I have. You know, we're gonna go ahead. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna leave it with that, man, because that's how I'm gonna feel actually after Halloween. 'Cause I just know. You know, that we don't really go around and do the door-to-door thing. We do stuff with the church, and we did it during the school day, and they're not actually doing it at night because, you know, the Rona, the restrictions, and, you know, and so we weren't able to do it. But we bought some candy, and just here at the house, just to enjoy it, because they don't really get candy too often. It's a really special thing. And so this is one of the carnivals throughout the year. And I know I'm going to look for it. At least I'm going to be doing the carnivore and sitting there and smelling the peanut butter and the chocolate. The almond joys. Oh, I'm going to want it so bad. I'm going to want it so bad, dude. All right. Before we go back to the comment section real quick. Let's see. Yeah, Jeremiah, last stream we talked about heavy and death metal. Can Catholics listen to Marilyn Manson? You should go check out that video. Again, check out that video at Meaning of Catholic talking about a debate over music. It's got a picture of me and a picture of my buddy Dave Hodges, as well as Tim Flanders and Kennedy Hall. It was the four of us involved in that. Yep. Let's see. Ailey says, got results during the beginning of your show. Yeah, look at that. Nuno says, that interaction was like the Dallas FC Juniors versus the female American soccer team in my favor. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Yes, dude. Like a top. Like a top, man. And this is fun. I'm not trying. Look, there's a shtick to this, dude. If the guy doesn't even see that, I don't know what to tell him. He's like, I'm taking you really, really seriously, even in everything. And I'm thinking, do you think I'd do that right there? You think I'd do that in real life, too? Yeah, this is mass medium, by the way. It's a show. You should get to know me, by the way. Bethany says, holy goodness gracious, Ailey is your wife? Yes. Yes, Ailey is my wife. I always joke around and say, think of how weird that would be if I'm saying that I'm like the mayor from the Powerpuff Girls. Do you remember that? With his secretary, she was like mad hot. You know, she had well, you're guessing. I don't think, did they ever show her face? Did they ever actually show her face for real? Because they always showed the legs and stuff like that, and the ankles. Yeah. And I said, I know, it's kind of like me. and Ailey is the queen of divas here with the staff. Remember, man, Wolfgang and Lucian, those are the other staff members. Those are my kids. Oh, we're having fun, man. We are having fun. And yes, yeah. So that would be really confusing. You'd be like, is Jeremiah, kind of doing something weird? Is he being naughty? No, man. Well, maybe. But with my wife. That's the way that works. Yeah. You can tell because we got a lot of kids, right? We're doing okay. We love each other very, very, very deeply. In fact, again, the thumbnail to the show. It shows how deeply we love each other. Let's see. I'm going to go as Bane for Halloween. Face mask and ventilator included. Dude, dope. Yep. Almond Joys are amazing. I agree with you. One of my favorite candies. Yes. Yeah, Bethany now says, I've just seen Angela on Facebook. Glad I figured this out now. What were you going to do? Were you going to, like, notify the wife and be like, oh, you know, I really like your husband's show, but I have a feeling that he's... that him and the secretary... And my wife will be like, oh, he loves his secretary with all of his heart. He does. Oh, he does. He's always bragging her up, talking about how mega hot she is all the time. Oh, man. She's a beauty queen. I love my wife. I love my wife. Let's see. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah. She goes to the kids' doctor appointments and everywhere. I thought she was a heck of a nanny. Oh, my gosh. I love you guys, man. What a great time. Thank you so much for the show. We went over, but that's okay. We started at 12:10, so it's about 2.5 hours today. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. And remember, let's go ahead and get the split screen up here. Every single Monday through Friday and tomorrow night. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we are going to do, you have to go to paleocratdiaries.com because that's where the link is going to be. It's an unlisted video. I may even take some video, maybe some TikTok footage from the 4 Men party. I'll take some pictures and I'll show you guys some stuff. It'll be a little bit more personal, more intimate stuff like that, but it'll be funny. We're going to talk funny stuff and everything else. It's not going to get serious and all that. We're not going to get too serious about that stuff unless it gets, sometimes it can, it depends on what stories we tell and things like that. And so it's a bunch of fun, but every single Monday through Friday, the ordinary time is 10 to noon Eastern time. To learn more about myself, to learn more about this show, to see the episodes, and the playlist. We have entire YouTube playlists for Paleo Cheese Podcast, Paleocrat Diaries, and Meaning of Catholic. All my appearances on Meaning of Catholic, including appearances on other shows too, right? Like Rules for Retrogrades and stuff like that, being on there. You can find those in the video description or in the playlist that are provided at youtube.com/Paleocrat. And if there's any kind of interview, speech, or any other inquiries, any memes you'd like to send, articles you would like to talk to me about, question answers, or even and especially the hate mail, make sure to send them my way. Attention, the big dog over here at Paleocrat Diaries, at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. I'm grateful. Thank you guys so much. And until tomorrow night, paleocratdiaries.com. Tomorrow night, paleocratdiaries.com. Okay? Remember, I salute you, saying never give up, keep on smiling, and memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge. Maybe a funeral procession.